If you chase two rabbits, you will not catch either one. And in your business, if you're trying to do everything, you will be good at nothing. This is the third part of our business growth series where I'm taking my top growth advice from 14 years experience of running a successful marketing agency and sharing the lessons I've learned from working with hundreds of different businesses. And today we are talking about focusing on the one thing. Let's jump in. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Liquid's Digital Marketing Podcast. This is our third part of our business growth series, and today we are talking about focusing on the one thing. Typically on this podcast, we talk about marketing, web design, lead generation, that sort of stuff. So we're kind of taking a break from that and doing this business growth series and really kind of talking about some other things that really impact the growth of any business and any entrepreneur. So today we're talking about focusing on the one thing. And so what does that mean in your business? So quite frankly, you need to be doing fewer things. And this is going to allow you to have greater focus and create better results. But I get it, right? You're running a business, so how are you just going to start just doing fewer things? You need to do all of the things, right? And yes, you do. Or I should say, they need to get done. Whether you're the one doing them or not is a different story. Okay, so there's a great book out there called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and it's a great read. You definitely should pick this book up and read it because this is really focused, that it focuses on the one thing. And that's what we're talking about today. So definitely pick that up. I am taking some notes right from that book for this episode. So, if you've read that book, then you'll hear some similar things in this episode. But so let's dive into it. How does this show up in your business? So the focusing on the one thing or not focusing on the one thing. So plain and simple, you're just doing too many things. And that could kind of translate into, okay, you're doing too many pieces of your business, right? So you're doing the billing, you're doing the payroll, you're doing the sales, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the actual work. You're updating your website, you're doing everything, and you sometimes have to in the beginning, but there is going to become a point in time where you're going to have to stop doing all of the things and start doing the things that matter. So you're just doing too many things, right? Wearing too many hats. So the other way this could kind of show up is not necessarily what you're doing, is who you're serving. Maybe you're serving too many people, right? Maybe your audience is too big, so you need to focus that down. So it could even kind of translate into that. Also, another way that this could translate into your business is you're offering too many things. So think about going to a restaurant and you go and you see the menus that just have everything you could possibly think of listed on this menu. And then you go to the restaurant that has, a decent menu, but doesn't have everything, right? They kind of focus on one thing that they do really well. Maybe it's burgers, or maybe it's steaks, or maybe it's I don't know what. But they don't just do everything. They kind of really focus on certain dishes. So obviously, someone who specializes or focuses on that one thing is going to get better results. They're going to have better. They're going to have better output, right? That steak is going to be a lot better because that's what they do. They just focus on that steak. They don't focus on, pancakes and everything else, right? So, okay. So that's another way it can show up. Also in your business, and I run into this a lot, and that's chasing shiny objects, right? So you'll hear that shiny object syndrome. So basically what this is you are you're really kind of just chasing like, oh, okay, I'm going to set up this new app that's going to help me do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I need to start doing these ads, so I'm going to focus all on this. And you're just kind of bouncing around and focusing on all of these different things. And it's like all the new things that are fun and new and shiny, you're just kind of chasing those. And then you work on that a little bit and you get bored and you kind of move on to the next thing. And so that's chasing shiny objects, and that is not focusing on the one thing. And then also not prioritizing the right things, right? So, okay, maybe you do have to do all of these things, but which one should you do first? Which ones are the most important? Which ones are going to actually move the needle, and which ones are just task? So focusing on, what you should be prioritizing is a big part of doing the one thing. Okay, so here's some points that come right out of the book. And one of them is everything matters equally. So this is a lie. Not everything matters equally, right? So the majority of what you do is not going to return results. So the majority, actually, I think it's 20% of what you do is actually going to create 80% of your results. So a very small part of what you do is actually moving the needle. So your job is to find out what is that thing that's going to help move the needle. What is the one thing you need to be focusing on? Multitasking is another lie. So you can't physically multitask and be successful at two things. So, you can do it, but if you're trying to do two things at once, both are going to suffer. If you're really focusing on one thing and then getting it done, you're going to have much better results. So, really kind of it dives into this multitasking and it's not going to give you the best results. So really not multitasking, really focusing on the thing that you need to be doing. And then you need to start asking the right questions. So, really what it comes down to is, asking what is it that you need to get done? Like, what is it that's going to move the needle? Why am I working on this? Like, why is this a priority? Like, what is the thing? So you need to ask yourself this focusing question. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easy or unnecessary? Okay, I'm going to read that again. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? So this is the focusing question right out of the One Thing book. And if you can answer this question, it's going to solve a lot of your problems. So knowing this will show you how many things don't need to be done if you would just start doing the right things. So you may not need to do all of these other things that you're doing if you do the one thing that needs to be done. Look, 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. So you really need to start figuring out what that one thing is. And I do recommend going and picking up that book or getting the audiobook. It's a great read, and just start asking yourself the right questions. What is that one thing that you can do that's going to make everything else easier or even unnecessary? All right, so I'm going to leave you here with that. If you have any questions on any of this content, please leave me a comment and I would love to answer any questions that you have. And please leave us a review. And I'll see you in the next episode.